Spain, 1519. The world was still filled with mysteries. Large portions of the globe remained unknown to Europeans. Maps contained blank spaces. Entire oceans were poorly understood, and one question obsessed explorers everywhere. Was there a western route to Asia? At the time, spices were among the most valuable goods on Earth. Nations competed fiercely for access to trade routes leading to Asia's riches. Most voyages traveled east, but one man believed there was another way. His name was Ferdinand Magellan. Magellan was a skilled sailor and experienced explorer. He proposed a daring plan. Instead of sailing east toward Asia, he would travel west. If successful, he would find a new route to the valuable Spice Islands. Many considered the mission incredibly dangerous. No one knew exactly what lay beyond the vast oceans. But the Spanish crown agreed to support the expedition. 5 ships were prepared: the Trinidad, the San Antonio, the Conception, the Victoria, and the Santiago. Together they carried around 270 men. In September of 1519, the fleet departed Spain. The crew felt excitement mixed with fear. Many knew they might never return. The ships crossed the Atlantic and headed toward South America. At first, progress was steady, but as months passed, conditions became increasingly difficult. The fleet searched endlessly for a passage through the continent. Winter approached. Temperatures dropped. Supplies dwindled. Tensions rose, then disaster struck. Several captains launched a mutiny against Magellan. Some officers no longer trusted him. Others feared the expedition was doomed. For a time, it seemed the voyage might collapse completely. But Magellan acted decisively. The rebellion was crushed. Order was restored. The expedition continued. Yet the hardships were far from over. One ship was lost during a storm. Others struggled against dangerous coastlines and unpredictable weather. Still, Magellan refused to give up. Finally, in October 1520, the fleet discovered what they had been searching for: a narrow passage winding through the southern tip of South America. The route was treacherous. Steep cliffs surrounded the ships. Powerful currents threatened to smash them against rocks. Navigation was incredibly difficult, but after weeks of careful sailing, the fleet emerged into a vast ocean. Magellan had found the passage. Today it bears his name, the Strait of Magellan. Looking across the calm waters beyond, Magellan believed the hardest part of the voyage was behind him. He was wrong. The ocean ahead seemed peaceful, so he named it the Pacific Ocean. But the journey across it became one of the greatest ordeals in exploration history. The Pacific was far larger than anyone realized. Weeks turned into months. Food supplies disappeared. Fresh water became scarce. Crew members grew desperate. Historical accounts describe sailors eating leather, sawdust, and anything else they could find. Disease spread. Starvation killed many. The expedition was slowly being destroyed by the endless ocean. Eventually, land appeared on the horizon. The survivors had reached islands in the Pacific. For the exhausted crew, it felt like a miracle. Food and water were finally available. But the dangers of exploration continued. The expedition moved through Southeast Asia and eventually reached the Philippines. There, Magellan became involved in local conflicts. Believing he could support one allied ruler against another, he joined a battle. It proved to be a fatal mistake. On April 27, 1521, Ferdinand Magellan was killed during the Battle of Mactan. The man who had led the expedition across oceans would never see its conclusion. Many journeys would have ended there, but the surviving crew refused to give up. Under new leadership, they continued westward. More ships were abandoned due to damage and lack of manpower. Eventually, only one vessel remained, the Victoria. Against overwhelming odds, the ship crossed the Indian Ocean, rounded Africa, and returned to Spain. In September 1522, nearly 3 years after departing, the Victoria sailed back into port. Of the roughly 270 men who had started the expedition, only 18 completed the entire journey. But they had achieved something extraordinary. For the first time in human history, a voyage had successfully circled the globe. The expedition proved beyond doubt that Earth's oceans were connected. It revealed the true scale of the planet, and it changed geography, navigation, and exploration forever. Magellan himself never completed the journey, yet his vision made it possible. Today, the voyage remains one of the greatest achievements in human exploration, a story of courage, determination, and a journey into the unknown that forever changed humanity's understanding of the world.